संस्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय Ramakrishnaaya te namaha. Revered Swami Harshanand Ji Maharaj, dear Swami Yukteshanand Ji, other dear brother monks and brahmacharis, respected Matajis, dear sisters and brothers. Just now we heard a beautiful speech from Swami Yukteshanand Ji on Sri Ramakrishna, the prophet of harmony, Samnvaya Acharya, how he harmonized various religions, various faiths inside the domain of Hinduism, and also outside the domain of Hinduism. And he gave a beautiful explanation of how Sri Ramakrishna's life is a great inspiration and how he is really, truly speaking, Sarva Deva Devi Swarupa. To speak about Sri Ramakrishna, very difficult. Girish Chandra Ghosh was a household disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, as you know, the great dramatist and the poet of Bengal at that time. His life is very fascinating. Everybody must read the life. There is a beautiful book, God lived with them and they lived with God. Two books. They Lived with God gives the biographies of all the household disciples, and God Lived with Them, the life biographies of the monastic disciples of Sri Ramakrishna. So in They Lived with God, we find the biographical sketch of Sri Girish Chandra Ghosh. So Girish Chandra Ghosh one day came to Swami Vivekananda and he told Swami Vivekananda, Naren Bhai, I have a request to make. Swami Vivekananda used to regard Girish Chandra Ghosh because he was elderly, but he used to call him GC, Girish Chandra Ghosh. GC, why do you talk like that? You give me order, I'll carry out your order. What is the question of request? Then Girish Chandra Ghosh said, you see, God has given you tremendous power. You have such a nice power of expressing yourself, your ideas. You are such a good orator. You are such a good writer. And God has given you special faculty, tremendous power you have got. So what I want is that you should write a biography of our Gurudev, Sri Ramakrishna. Then Swami Vivekananda said, GC, what you said in the beginning is very true. Sometimes I feel so much of power within me that I feel I can take the whole earth in my hand and throw it like a ball into the sky. I feel so much of power sometimes. But the second thing you said, that I can write the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, that is impossible. What have I understood of Sri Ramakrishna? The more I grow older, the more and more I am growing, the more I am understanding. I did not understand anything of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna is infinite. If there can be a limit to the infinite Brahman, there is no limit to the greatness of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Swami Vivekananda says, not possible for me to express. He is so deep, so vast, such a vast personality. Never in the history of the whole world a person came to this earth like Sri Ramakrishna. I have understood very little of him. How can I write about him? Do you want that I should make a sculpture of a monkey instead of Shiva? There was a sculptor who wanted to make a sculpture of Shiva, but later on it turned out to be a sculpture of a monkey. Do you want that I should repeat that? It's not possible. No, 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 no. I am powerless to write about Sri Ramakrishna. And really, Sri Ramakrishna, Swami Vivekananda did not write the biography of Sri Ramakrishna. Never. Yet he did not attempt. Of course, after many years later, Swami Shardananji, another brother disciple, wrote the biography of Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna Lila Prasanga, which has been translated into the English, the Sri Ramakrishna, the Great Master, and the new English translation by Swami Chetanananji has also come It is in a foreign edition, not in Indian edition. That's also a beautiful translation. And I'm sure it must have been available in Canaries, so many other languages it is available. There, Swami Shardanandji gave the detailed biography of Sri Ramakrishna. But Swami Vivekananda did not write about Sri Ramakrishna. But he did three things. Three things which are enough for us to know Sri Ramakrishna from the viewpoint of Swami Vivekananda. Number one, he wrote that immortal hymn, the evening Artikam hymn, that in all the branch centers of Ramakrishna Math and Mission, and even in private ashramas, every day evening during the Vesper service, we sing Khandana, Bhavabandhana, Jagavandana, Vanditomaya. What a wonderful stotra, what a wonderful hymn. It contains, as if the whole of the ocean has been contained, ocean of the life of Sri Ramakrishna has been contained in one small picture. Vast, infinite. Every word requires explanation for hours together. So I will not attempt that now. You can read the book of Swami Harshanandaji Maharaj on Evening Artrikam. You will get a little more clear idea. Every stanza requires explanation of, because the whole life and the teachings, the glory of Sri Ramakrishna, everything has been compressed into one small stotra. Khandana Bhavavandhana Jagavandhana Vanditomaya. Beautiful. Second, what he did is, he gave a short speech, My Master, in New York, and also he gave later on at London. Both these speeches have been compiled into a small book form, My Master. It's a masterpiece, My Master. Third, when Swami Vivekananda returned from the Western countries, one of the devotees, Sri Navgopal Ghosh, he invited Swami Vivekananda to install the image of Sri Ramakrishna. He had constructed a small temple of Sri Ramakrishna there. So Navgopal, when Swamiji came in a procession with all his brother monks from Belumat to the house of Navgopal Ghosh, the wife of Navgopal Ghosh requested Swami Vivekananda, please bless that Sri Ramakrishna may stay here in this shrine that we have prepared. Swamiji jokingly said, our master used to stay in Kamarpukur in a thatched house, and you have prepared a beautiful shrine of marble. Why not he will stay here? He will surely stay here. Because now he has got a marble image, this marble image on a marble floor. And then Swamiji sat down for worshipping Sri Ramakrishna. And while sitting on the asana, suddenly one shloka came out from his mouth. It was not prepared. He came out. What is that shloka? The same shloka we normally chant. Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarva dharma sarupine avatar varisthaya Ramakrishnaya te namah. O Lord, you came to this earth. Sthapakaya cha dharmasya. You came here to instill religion. This is in conformity with the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, where Sri Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. I am born again and again. I incarnate myself again and again into this earth whenever there is a great danger to religion and religion is being wiped out. At that time, to instill once again that religious spirit, I incarnate myself in person, the Lord says, Krishna says. And so the same Lord came in the form of Rama, the same Lord came in the form of Shri Krishna, and the same Lord came in this our age as Ramakrishna. Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarva dharma sarupane. But which religion he founded? He founded all the religions. He gave a trademark, a standardized seal, ISI standard, to all the religions, that all religions are equally true and equally valid paths for reaching the highest. He established all religions that were already existing. He did not start a new religion. And that is why Avatara Varisthaya Ramakrishnaya Te Namah. We bow down to you again and again, O Shri Ramakrishna, because you are Avatara Varistha. You are the greatest incarnations of God. Greatest incarnation of God. Here we get little bewildered. Swami Vivekananda was not dogmatic in approach. He was always against dogmatism. And here he tells about Guru, his Guru, that our Guru Ramakrishna is Avatar Varistha. That means other avatars are Kanistha. Sri Krishna is inferior. Rama is inferior. And Ramakrishna is superior. How is it possible? Does Swami Vivekananda mean that? And how he can mean that? When Sri Ramakrishna himself said, one who was Rama, one who was Sri Krishna, is now in this body as Ramakrishna. You remember that incident? Just 2 days before Sri Ramakrishna was passing away, Sri Ramakrishna gave up his body on 16th August 1886. At that time, Swami Vivekananda and his brother disciples, all college students, most of them students, they were serving Sri Ramakrishna because he had got cancer and they were in Kashipur garden house. And when Swami Vivekananda, Narennath, was serving Sri Ramakrishna, he found Sri Ramakrishna having tremendous pain because he had got cancer. He could not swallow any food. And sometimes there will be so much of pain that he used to cry. After listening to the cry, the painful cry of Sri Ramakrishna, a doubt entered into the mind of Swami Vivekananda. What? People call him an incarnation of God? And this is what happens to God? God is crying out of pain? No, no, no. He cannot be God. Not possible. And then suddenly a thought came to his mind. If at this stage, when he is having so much of suffering, even at this stage, if he can say from his own lips, if he will say that yes, I am an incarnation of God, then only I will believe. Otherwise I will not believe. This idea came to his mind, and what a great surprise. The very moment this idea came in the mind of Naren, immediately Sri Ramakrishna looked towards him and said, Naren, ekhono abishwas, jini Ram chilen, jini Krishna chilen, tini idaning Ramakrishna, tor Vedantik dik diye noy. Even now you have got doubt, Naren? One who was Rama, one who was Krishna, has now come in the form of Ramakrishna, but not from your Vedantic point of view. But because from Vedantic point of view, everybody is Brahman. In a spatial sense, Sri Ramakrishna said, one who was Rama, one who was Krishna, has come in the form of Ramakrishna. Then how can Ramakrishna become superior? How can he become Avatar Varistha? When the same Rama and same Krishna have come in the form of Ramakrishna, how to solve this riddle? This question was asked to the 10th president of our Ramakrishna Math and Mission, Swami Nikhileswarananda, who was a direct disciple of Holy Mother. He gave a beautiful explanation. He said, you know, when Swami Vivekananda is telling that his Avatar Varistha is superior to all the incarnations, does not mean that other incarnations are inferior. It is only that in this particular age, for this particular present scenario, Sri Ramakrishna is most relevant and his teachings are most relevant. And then he gave a beautiful simile. You know, there is a particular actor. He knows very good acting. And he performs in various dramas. In all the dramas, he performs very nice. But in one particular drama, he acts in such a beautiful manner that all the people say, he acted very nicely in all the dramas, but in this particular drama, he was at his best. So Sri Ramakrishna is a great actor who came in the form of Krishna, who came in the form of Rama, but when he came in the form of Ramakrishna, he was at his best. That is the best performance he has given. And there is one film that is taken in which all the previous films are also taken together. There is reel made. All the best performance of previous things are also given together. Similarly, Sri Ramakrishna performed the roles of all other incarnations. You find in his life, he played the role of Rama, he played the role of Krishna, he played the role of Chaitanya in one single life. And he played some new extra role that he had never played, because the present scenario, the present age demanded that you should have a very different type of approach. So all the approaches, older approaches, he approved, but he had some different approaches. So he was at his best. And our youngsters, they want latest model car. They want latest model mobile. They want latest model mobile. They want latest model bungalow. Everything they want latest. Latest dress, latest gadgets, everything they want latest. Swami Vivekananda says, Sri Ramakrishna is the latest and most perfect avatara of this age. Latest avatara. We want latest. He is the latest avatara. Latest and the most perfect, Swami Vivekananda says. And his message is very, very relevant today. But Rama and Krishna, they came, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskritam. They came to protect the virtuous people and for killing the wise people. But here, Rama came with arrow and bow. Krishna came with Sudarshan Chakra. But Ramakrishna, not a single weapon with him. You see, just sitting like this, no weapon. No, he has also got a weapon. What is that weapon? Girish Chandra Ghosh said, yes, he also brought a weapon. What is that weapon? Girish Chandra Ghosh was the owner of this Star Theatre. And the disciples, they came to him and said, Sir, our master Sri Ramakrishna is a great saint of Dakshineshwar. He wants to see the drama of Chaitanya Lila. He wants to see the drama. Will you allow him a free pass? Girish Ghosh said, yes, I will allow him one pass, that's all. But all of you have to purchase the ticket. We are ready to purchase. You give one free pass, okay. And then he said, oh, master has come by the horse carriage. Will not go there to receive him. What? He is such a big saint that I have to receive him. No, he was very egoistic. And he had hatred towards religion and religious people. So he did not want to go. Anyway, as a sort of courtesy, he came down, went to the staircase, near the staircase where the horse carriage was standing, and Sri Ramakrishna came out of the horse carriage. As soon as Sri Ramakrishna came out, he made namaskaram to Girish Chandra Ghosh. Girish Ghosh never did namaskar to anybody. Least of all, he did not want to do any namaskar, particularly to any monk or a sadhu. But when Sri Ramakrishna made namaskar, then Girish Ghosh said, at least for the sake of courtesy, I must also do namaskaram. So he did namaskaram. Then Sri Ramakrishna, he gave a big namaskar. He bowed down his head. Now Girish Ghosh had to also bow down his head because as a courtesy he had to return. He is such a great saint. He also bowed down. Then Sri Ramakrishna bowed down completely. Girish Ghosh said, I can't go that extent. I have been defeated. I have been defeated. Previously the Rakshas were killed by arrows and by Sudarshan Chakra. And a Badmash like me has been killed by Pranam Astra. He has got Pranam Astra. You see, Pranam. He is doing Pranam and killing others. Pranam and killing others. Pranam and killing others. He has become so humble with this idea of humility. Goes to the latrine of Rasik Mehtar at dead of night and cleans the latrine and cleans the floor with his long hair and with praying to Mother, Mother, please remove my ego. Please remove my ego that I am a Brahmin or I am a higher caste. Please remove my ego. And he becomes so egoist. So Pranam Astra. This is what he is giving. And what are the demons he killed? You know, Ravan Kumbhakarna had 3 births. A Panditji was narrating Ramcharitmanas in Benares Hindu University. And he was narrating in Ramcharitmanas, it is told that Ravan and Kumbhakarna had 3 incarnations. They were actually Jaya and Vijay. They were the 2 watchmen. But the Sanak Sanatan, these rishis, when they did not allow this Jaya and Vijay Dwarpal, these gatekeepers, they did not allow them to meet the God, meet Sri Vishnu. Then they cursed this Jaya and Vijay that you will be born as Rakshasas. And these Jaya Vijay, they were born as Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu in Satyuga. And in Treta, they were born as Ravan and Kumbhakarna. And in Dwapara Yuga, they were born as Shishupal and Dantavakra. So, Ravan, Kumbhakarna, 3 incarnations. One student stood up and said, Pandit ji, tab to hamara ye yug bahut acha hai. This yuga is very good. Why? Because in all the other 3 yugas, there are Ravan and Kumbhakarna. But in this yuga, there is no Ravan and no Kumbhakarna, because there is no such mention in Ramcharitmanas. Then the Pandit said, oh no, it is not like that. In all the 3 ages, there is only one Ravan and one Kumbhakarna. In this age, so many Ravan and so many Kumbhakarna, how to write about them? Full of Ravan and Kumbhakarna. And what is this Ravan and Kumbhakarna? They are all sitting in our heart. Everybody's heart, this Ravan and Kumbhakarna is sitting there. What is Ravan and Kumbhakarna? In Vinay Patrika, Tulsidas ji says, Moha dasmoli tad bhrat ahankara paka rijit kam vishram hari. What is this? This dasmoli. Dasmoli, Ravana with 10 heads. Who is he? Moha. Attachment. Infatuation. In everybody's heart, this attachment is there. That is Moha, that is Ravana, in everybody's heart. Then, Tadbhrat Ahankar, his brother is Ahankar, ego. Kumbhakarna is his brother. And that ego wants more and more. Any amount of food is not enough. If you say, oh, in the newspaper, my photograph did not come. Then you show him, oh, your photograph has appeared in the newspaper. Huh, very good. But this is only a local daily. It did not appear in national daily. Then you show him, in national paper also your photograph has come. Oh, but then it is not in the front page. It is in the last page. So their ahankara will never get quenched. They have got more and more publicity. They want more and more publicity, more and more ego to be satisfied. That ego is never satisfied. Ahankara, Kumbhakarna, whatever food you give, it is less for him. So ahankara also requires more and more food. Tad bhrat ahankara. Paka rijit kam vishram hari. And Meghnad, that is kama, lust. These are the shatrus, these are the enemies which are residing in our heart. Sri Ramakrishna came to kill these demons. And particularly, 3 demons he killed, which were very much necessary in this age. The first demon was the demon of doubt. Because of scientific discoveries, our modern age is the age of scientific discoveries. And because of this modern scientific age, now the people who are studying science, they don't want to believe in cock and bull stories. They want documentary evidence for everything. Where is God? Who has seen it? We don't believe in God. We want everything documentary evidence. And that is why, on behalf of all of us, Swami Vivekananda, he was also studying, he had also been educated in the same education system that we have all been studying. What is that? Lord Macaulay's education policy, which was started only so that all the Hindus forget about the glory of Hinduism. He wrote in 1939, Lord Macaulay wrote to his father, Father, what can I tell you? Within 3 years, I've got such a good result of the new education policy that no Hindu who has ever received English education can ever remain attached to his religion. He starts hating his own religion. And that is why, when Swami Vivekananda was studying at that time in Scottish Church College, the General Assembly College, he studied many philosophers, Kant, Hegel, Spencer, John Stuart Mill. And after reading the books of these Western philosophers, he became agnostic. And he started, but he wanted to know the truth. Any saint coming to Calcutta, he would ask, Sir, you are talking too much about God. Have you seen God? Nobody could give him satisfactory reply. He became frustrated. Then he heard Rabindranath Tagore's father, Devendranath Tagore, Maharishi Devendranath Tagore. He meditates too much on God. He stays in a steamer in a cabin. One day he went to Maharishi Devendranath Tagore. He was in a cabin in a steamer, entered his cabin, and Sir, I want to ask a question. Yes, my boy, ask the question. Sir, I have heard that you are meditating on God always. I want to ask you one question. Sir, have you seen God? Maharishi Devendranath Tagore looked at him for some time and said, My dear boy, your eyes are beautiful, those of a yogi. Narendranath became disappointed. I am asking, have you seen God? He says, your eyes are beautiful. I don't want my appreciation. I want reply. He couldn't get reply from anybody. One day he had gone to the college. On that day, the professor of English literature was absent. So the principal, Professor William Hastie, himself came to take the class, and he was teaching them the poem of Wordsworth, The Excursion, the name of the poem, The Excursion, written by Wordsworth. At that time, there, the poet says, looking at the natural beauty, he goes into a trance, into a superconscious state. Then the students ask, sir, is it possible that a human being can go into the superconscious state, into a trance, into samadhi state? Is it possible? Then Professor William Hastie said, yes, it is possible. And I know one person, I have seen one person who frequently enters into such a state. And if you want, you also can meet that person and can see that person, because that person lives in Calcutta only. There is the temple of Dakshineshwar, Mother Kali. There is Ramakrishna Paramahansa, who enters into this trance very frequently, into this samadhi state. Immediately Narendra started for Dakshineshwar. Okay, let me test this saint also. Went there. At the time, Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room on a small cot. He was talking to the devotees. Devotees were seated on the floor. Narendra came, sat down on one side, and started listening to the conversations of Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna was talking about God. After some time, Narendra said, now enough. Enough of the talks of God. Now first answer my question. Have you seen God? And for the first time, he received the satisfactory reply. Yes, my dear boy, I have seen God. Not only that, you also can see Him. I am seeing Him more intensely than I am seeing you. And if you want, you also can see Him, but you will have to undergo spiritual practices. This is the science of religion. Science says H2 plus O2 is equal to H2O. Huh? Hydrogen is a gas, oxygen is a gas. How it can give water? It's not a question of theory. Come to the laboratory, mix hydrogen, oxygen, have electrolytic process, and afterwards if you don't get water, then you tell, we don't believe in the formula of 2H2 plus 1O2 is equal to 1H2O. That is, afterwards you can say, not before experimentation. Similarly, Sri Ramakrishna says, yes, I have seen God. You also can see Him, but you have to come to the laboratory and perform spiritual practices. Narendrath accepted the challenge, and later on, he also had the vision. He also had the experience of that Nirvikal Samadhi in Kashipur, and that is why, based on his own experience, he could declare in the world's parliament religions, Shrodavantu Vishwe Amritasya Putraha Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastu. I have seen that ancient one who is beyond all miseries, that was coming from the bottom of his heart, because he had that experience, the transcendental experience he had. So, on behalf of all of us, Narendrath, a college student, educated in Lord Macaulay's education policy, who had become an agnostic like us in this scientific age, got the satisfactory reply. Sri Ramakrishna came, and Romarola says he was the consummation of 2000 years of life of 300 million people. That time, the population of India was 300 million people. He was the consummation of 2000 years of spiritual life of 300 million people. Sri Ramakrishna practiced all those religious experiences. He had all those religious experiences, and he underwent all types of spiritual practices, and then he came to the conclusion, yes, there is God, and he had that transcendental reality. So this one, the doubt that is raging in our mind, in the modern scientific mind, whether there is God or not, has been eradicated by Sri Ramakrishna. That is why when Swami Vivekananda wrote that beautiful stotra on Sri Ramakrishna, another beautiful stotra, apart from this Om Rim Ritam and Khandana Bhavandana, another stotra, Jaya Deva Jaya Nara Nara Jaya Deva. That is Shakti Samudra Samadhita Chittam Ashandala Pratihatarayo Yasya Prema Pravaha. That in there he says, Shanshaya Rakshasa Nasha Mahastram Yami Gurum Sharanam Bhava Vaidyam. Shanshaya Rakshasa. Sri Ramakrishna, he says, O Lord, you have killed the demon of Sanshaya, doubt. Sanshaya Rakshasa Nasta Mahastram Yami Gurum Sharanam Bhava Vaidyam. So he was Sanshaya Rakshasa Nasta Mahastram. So number one demon he killed was the Sanshaya Rakshasa, Sri Ramakrishna. Second, he killed the demon of materialism. Swami Vivekananda says in his book on this My Master, he said, the time was ripe when in this age we are always thinking that without money we can't go one step further, and we are always calculating in terms of money. We have become so money-minded. We all want to possess more and more and more. And now that consumerism come in a very big way. Eric Fromm says in his book, to have or to be, man has become a commodity. He thinks himself like a commodity and sells himself like a commodity. Yes, bridegrooms are sold. You know, in Bihar, if you are an IS officer, you will be sold at 1 crore rupee. Now, latest rate I do not know. This is I am talking about 6 months back. A bridegroom, if you want in Bihar, a bridegroom who should be an IS officer, you have to pay a dowry of 1 crore. So bridegrooms are being sold and being purchased. Man has become a commodity. He thinks himself like a commodity and sells himself like a commodity. This is the age of gross materialism, consumerism. Oxford Dictionary has now added one more word, affluenza. It's not influenza. Influenza sometimes we get it also. This is not influenza, it is affluenza. This affluenza comes to only affluent people. Don't worry. That comes to affluent people, but now in India 10% people are affluent and 22% below poverty line. All we have got the whole range. 10% of the people in India also are becoming prey to this affluenza. In America, this already has come. Many books are being published on affluenza. Dr. Oliver James has written the book. The name of the book is Affluenza Epidemic. It is spreading like epidemic, where the rich children of the poor rich children, that is the name given. The poor rich children every day wants to have new gadgets, more cars, more dresses, more boots, more shoes. And the more they get, the more they become dissatisfied. Then they become schizophrenic. Then they become drug addict. And then they commit suicide. This is the trend. So many people committing suicide. So many books coming out on how to commit suicide. This is because they are having not having peace of mind. They are becoming prey for affluenza. That is when in America the parents have started affluenza resistant society to protect their children from this affluenza. Gross materialism has come. Consumerism come in a big way. It is at this stage, Swami Vivekananda says, when a person was needed who can demonstrate to the whole world, even without a single rupee, one can lead a life of bliss and happiness and joy, full of joy, without touching money. And Sri Ramakrishna could not touch money. Not only money, even any metal, because those times money was coming in the form of coins. So he could not touch any coin. Not only that, he could not touch any metal. That is why he had to take his food in earthen pots. And there was a stage of his life when anybody touched him with a metal thing, his hand would get bent and he would get as if a scorpion sting. He will feel that pain. When Swami Vivekananda heard about it, he became dejected. He said, you fools, you devotees are always fools. Always you try to spoil your guru in such a manner. Don't exaggerate like this. You say that Sri Ramakrishna does not accumulate money. I can understand that he is not very much after money. That I can understand. But why do you go to such an extent saying that if a rupee or if a coin or if a metal also touches his body, then his hands get bent and then he gets a sting of a scorpion? What is the nonsense you are all talking about? I don't like these things. Should not exaggerate. One day when he had come to Dakshineshwar, he came to the room of Sri Ramakrishna. He found Sri Ramakrishna was not there. He had gone with a few devotees to the Panchavati side. Suddenly an idea struck him. This is the good time to test this fellow, this saint. Let me now open out all his secrets. Then he just looked around. There is nobody there. Took out a coin from his pocket and put it under the cot. On the cot there was a pillow. There was a bedding, but between the bedding, under the bedding there was a mat, and inside the mat, under the mat, over the cot, he put that rupee, and then he stood in one corner. Let me see now what happens. After some time, Sri Ramakrishna returned with the devotees, and as soon as he sat down, he jumped up like this. Oh, there is a scorpion there. They saw nothing is there. Again he sat down. Again stood up. There is something scorpion there. Now the devotees, they took the whole bedding and they just threw it like this, and the coin came out from that, under the mat. Huh? Who has kept this coin here? Everybody is looking here and there. Then Sri Ramakrishna saw Naren is standing like this, and Sri Ramakrishna understood. And he said, "Oh my dear boy, I now understand. You are testing me. Very good, very good. The Guru should be tested day and night and then should be accepted. You have done well." He did not take any offense. Rather, he was happy that he had tested. But this is how Swami Vivekananda tested him day and night, many times. Then he said, "Avatara Varisthaya Ramakrishna Yate Nama." It is after a long time like this, after a long time of testing. But this materialism, this is very true. Sri Ramakrishna could not touch the money. Could not touch. And that is these now demonstrated. He has demonstrated that without even money, without preserving any money, one can lead a life full of joy and full of bliss. This is what he has demonstrated. And what a great renunciation, spirit of renunciation. Just now you heard Swami, that Holy Mother Sharda Devi said that his one most important thing of Sri Ramakrishna was Tyaga. What an amount of renunciation. He worshipped his own wife in the form of Shodashi on 4th June 1872. Whole night he worshipped and used to look upon every woman as the manifestation of the Divine Mother. Even among the actresses, during those times, actresses were not seen in good light. They were looked down upon. But Sri Ramakrishna went to them, blessed them. One of them, Nati Vinodini, a famous actress of that time, took sannyas at the age of 26 years and passed her whole life as a nun in Benares. What a transformation came. But Sri Ramakrishna never hated women, even of the ill fame, but converted them into the great saints. Nati Vinodini, after just one meeting with Sri Ramakrishna had gone to see Chaitanya Lila, and Nati Vinodini had played the part of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself. She had become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Sri Ramakrishna said, "I saw that Asal and Nakal both are same. The drama is always is a factual representation, I felt." And then he blessed Nati Vinodini and other actresses, and Nati Vinodini got transformed. And she took sannyasa at the age of 26 years, when she was most popular actress in the whole of Bengal. And she became a nun. Sri Ramakrishna's touch transformed. Sri Ramakrishna did not kill any ill-famed person or any criminal, but converted them into saints, converted them into the devotees. Manmat Gunda was a dacoit, was a very notorious person, and Yogin Ma used to go to Sri Ramakrishna. Yogin Ma's brother Hiralal did not like that his sister is a widowed sister, should go and visit Sri Ramakrishna. So once Sri Ramakrishna had visited Yogin Ma's place. At that time Hiralal had given some money to this Manmat Gunda, that today you just give a nice beating to this Paramahansa, so that this Paramahansa Giri of this Paramahansa will go away, and she should never come to this house. So Manmat Gunda was saying, "Don't worry, I know all these Paramahansas, how to make them all right. I am going to beat him nicely. Don't worry." And when Sri Ramakrishna came, sat down in Yogin Ma's house, as soon as Manmat Gunda came, Sri Ramakrishna gave such a loving glance. He was killed that moment, and he fell flat and became a devotee just by one glance. And he just went on repeating, "Priyanath, Priyanath, my beloved, my beloved." And when he left his body, he was just chanting, "Priyanath, Priyanath, my beloved, my beloved." Taking the photograph of Sri Ramakrishna on his chest, he passed away later on. He became one with Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna did not kill any wise persons, any Rakshasa, converted those Rakshasas into saints. Girish Ghosh said, if you want to see the glory of Sri Ramakrishna, don't look at Swami Vivekananda. That Swami Vivekananda is such a great person, then his Guru must be still greater than him. By that he will not get any idea about the greatness or the glory of Sri Ramakrishna. If you want to really know the glory of Sri Ramakrishna, look at me, this Girish. I have drunk so much of wine that if you put one bottle over the other, it will cross Mount Kailash. He was a poet, he said, it will cross Mount Kailash. So many bottles of wine I have seen. And there is not a single vice, not a single bad act that I have not performed in my life. All types of vices I have performed. But by Sri Ramakrishna's grace, I have become a saint. Sri Ramakrishna, Narendranath was a college student. To convert a college student into Swami Vivekananda is not a big deal. But to convert this fellow, such a fellow, into a saint, that is the real credit of Sri Ramakrishna. That is the real glory of Sri Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna never killed any Rakshasas. He converted Rakshasas into saints. And they all became great devotees like Girish Chandra Ghosh or Kalipad Ghosh or Manmat Gunda. All of them, they got transformed. That was the transformation touch of Sri Ramakrishna. And he killed the Rakshasa of materialism. In fact, in the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, you find everywhere this mention of, every page is full of this renunciation, renunciation, renunciation. So one of our Swamijis, he presented a copy of the Gospel to a professor. That is a good book. After 2 days, the professor returned the book. He said, what is this every page? Give up Kamini Kanchana, give up lust and money, give up lust and money. If I give up all this, what I am left with in the whole life is full of these two only. A most impractical book. It is good for you. I don't need it. He returned with thanks. After 1.5 months, he again said, Swamiji, I want 100 copies of that book. Can I get? What is the matter? He said, no. A few days back, there was an international conference to discuss about how to resolve the problems of the modern age, like criminalization, drug addiction, and suicides, and schizophrenia, and all these are coming up. And they found there are only 2 reasons: sex and money. These are the root of the all problems. And Sri Ramakrishna says, you give up these 2 and enjoy. I think he is the most practical book. So give me 100 copies. I will give to all the participants. This is the only solution. In the modern age, when all are going mad after money and consumerism and becoming prey to affluenza, it is at this time Sri Ramakrishna's life, simple life and high living, and a spiritual life full of bliss, even without having any money at his disposal. And what a renunciation. His salary was, 5 rupees per month. Only 5 rupees per month as a pujari, but he never signed the register. The Khajanchi used to give 5 rupees. If he doesn't give, he will not give any reminder. Only with 5 rupees he used to manage all the expenditure, and some devotees would go sometimes. And when Mathurnath passed away, the Trailok Babu did not give so much of attention to Sri Ramakrishna's personal needs. One day Lakshminarayan Marwadi, a merchant came, very rich merchant. I am doing some research work on that. When he came, Sri Ramakrishna's bedsheet was dirty. He said, what? In Bengal they don't know how to give proper respect to the monks. In our society, in Rajasthan, he give too much of importance to the saints, and we make some sort of a fixed deposit, so that from the interest earned, the daily needs of the monk can be met. So what I am thinking, I will give 10,000 rupees to you, keep it in a fixed deposit, and with that interest, 40 rupees you will get per month, and from that, your all expenditure will be borne, and you will not any problem. Sri Ramakrishna immediately fell down. After listening to this, he fell down unconscious. And when he got up, shut up. Don't speak like this. If you have to speak like this, get out. Never come here. Don't you know I cannot touch money? I cannot keep any money? No, I will not accept. Still Lakshminarayan Marwadi was not to give in. He again came. He came with 10,000 rupees back. He said, no. We will do one thing. I will be keeping it with Hridayaram. If you don't want to keep, don't touch it. Hridayaram will be there. Because nephew Hridayaram, who is Sevak, he had already met Lakshminarayan Marwadi. He said, no, bring. I will keep. Sri Ramakrishna said, no. He also cannot keep, because when he will keep, he will utilize for my services. No, he also cannot keep. Lakshminarayan Marwadi was not to give in. He said, okay, then I will give to Sharda Devi. You can give to Sharda Devi. Sri Ramakrishna also wanted to test. Then he went to Sharda Devi. Sarada Devi said, yes, Sri Ramakrishna not accepting, you please keep this 10,000 rupees. Well, my accepting and his accepting, are they different? If I accept it, I will be used for his purpose only. No, I can't expect. You see, Sarada Devi also, what a glorious renunciation. Nowadays, modern women, if they said, if the husbands, they refuse, they will say, what type of fool you are? You refuse 10,000 rupees, I could have got so many good saris out of that. And if they do not give us money, they will fall down. Here, by receiving the money, they are falling down. What a great ideal of renunciation both Sri Ramakrishna and Sarada Devi have shown. And the third Rakshasa that is killed by Sri Ramakrishna is what you just now heard. Sanshaya Rakshasa Nasamahastram, one. Second, that Rakshasa of materialism. And third, Rakshasa of dogmatism, fundamentalism. This new Rakshasa had come. Previously there was conflict between religion and non-religion, between religion and science. A new conflict has come between religion and religion. Every religion says, my religion is great. That is why Claude Allen Stark writes in his book, God of All, that is the name of the book, where he says, in the modern age we have got a very peculiar problem. That is multiplicity of religions, multi-faith disciplines, multi-faith religions. Now, this problem is so severe, one set of religions want to exclude all other people from their religion, and one set of religions want everybody else in the whole universe to be included in their religion. They want to have conversion. Muslims, they want everybody must become a Muslim or should be killed. Christians want all should become Christian or they should be killed. These are the only two alternatives. And Hindus said that if you are born Hindu, then only you are a proper Hindu. Otherwise, you cannot become a Hindu. So, but in any case, the problem is like this, multiplicity of religions, multi-faith. Now, how these problems can be resolved? Then Claude Allen Stark says, in this scientific age, if you say that all religions are equally great and equally true, they are not going to listen to you because it is an age of scientific verification. But if an individual starts practicing all religions by turn and in the laboratory of his own life, if he can experiment with all the religious practices and then can come to the conclusion that yes, all religions are leading ultimately to the one particular transcendental experience, then only the modern age will believe. And then he says, and fortunately, such a person was already born in the last century. Unfortunately, we are not aware about it. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. He already did everything. He practiced all religions by turn. Hinduism, Christianity, Islam. And then he said, based on my own experience, I can say, Joto Mot, Toto Path. As many faiths, so many paths. Today the whole world is in demand of this. It's an age of globalization. But global peace will not come unless until there is a global civilization, as I told you yesterday. And this global civilization will only come if we have a global personality which is acceptable to all the religions, in which it has been experimentally verified that all religions are equally true and valid paths for reaching the ultimate reality. There should not be any quarrel between religions. Let fundamentalism go, let dogmatism go, and let all these conflicts between religions go. Then only there will be peace of mind. Arnold J. Toynbee was a great historian. He was taking part from the side of UK into the First World War, and he saw with his own eyes thousands of people being killed. He was so much shocked that in the Second World War he did not take part, but he was a journalist. And then he narrated what a great catastrophe took place in Second World War. He lost all hopes for humanity. And suddenly he came across the book of Sri Ramakrishna and the life of Sri Ramakrishna, and he said, no, there is hope for the world. Sri Ramakrishna is there to guide us, and there is a hope for the world. And then he wrote, the present chapter of the history had a Western beginning. But if the world is to survive from self-destruction in this atomic age, it must have an Indian end. And then he says, Mahatma Gandhi and Emperor Ashoka's principle of non-violence and Sri Ramakrishna's testimony as to the harmony of religions, these are the attitudes and the values which will save the whole world from self-destruction in this atomic age. Sri Ramakrishna is the only person who can guide the whole world towards global peace in this global era. And Sri Ramakrishna's teachings are so practical in our everyday life. I don't have time to go through it, but I will only request one thing. All of you are reading the Gospel. If not, you must read the Gospel. At least let us read one page every day from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. I wrote an article, Magic of the Gospel, in Vedanta Kesari in June 1986. And then later on, I gave the Gujarati version in Sri Ramakrishna Jyot, in which I had narrated how many people were prevented from committing suicide. In fact, the Gospel starts like that. Master Mahashaya had started from his house after the quarrel with the family members. He just came out at dead of night, and he was going there, and he had to take a shelter in his sister's house in Varanagar. Next day morning, his nephew took him to various gardens. So he had come to the garden of Dakshineshwar, only to see the garden, not to meet Ramakrishna. But when he was there, he just passed through, and Sri Ramakrishna was talking to the devotees. He stood in one corner. After 5 minutes, he felt as if Sukadeva is expounding Bhagavata. He got a lot of peace of mind. And then, at that time, he had almost decided, I will commit suicide, because he was having tremendous frustration. After meeting Sri Ramakrishna, he got new life, and his idea of suicide was left behind, and he got a new life. And then he started writing down the conversations between Sri Ramakrishna and the devotees in his diary. Later on, at the request of Swami Vivekananda, this diary was published in the form of the book Ramakrishna Kathamrita in Bengali, and then into the English, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, then Hindi, Gujarati, Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Kannada, Odia, and then Japanese, French, German, Greek, Russian, Spanish, Dutch, so many languages of the world. Millions of copies have been sold. It created a stir during 1983 when the copyright restrictions were removed, because 1933, Master Mahashaya M passed away. Last page of the last proof of the last volume of Kathamrita, he edited, he did the proofreading, and next day morning, oh Lord, oh Mother, please take me into your fold, and he passed away. The magic of the Gospel, the magician behind was Sri Ramakrishna himself, and there was the instrument of Master Mahashaya. When the work was over, the Master took away the instrument back to his fold. But he was a great instrument for taking the message of Sri Ramakrishna. And about that Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, Christopher Isherwood says, if you can use only one word for the Gospel, it is the one word now, N-O-W, because you feel as if Sri Ramakrishna is talking to you. And Swami Vivekananda said about the Gospel to Master Mahashaya, Master Mahashaya, you have done wonderful work. Socratic dialogues are Plato all over, but you are entirely hidden here, and you are allowing Sri Ramakrishna to talk directly to the devotees. What a wonderful book. So that Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna is there to give the nectar. How many people have been saved from committing suicide by reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, because that message has got so much a peace of mind. And when I wrote about it, how many people have been prevented from committing suicide, including Purnachandra Ghosh and an NCC major, and all those incidents I gave, and how much peace of mind the Gospel gives. I had narrated all this in my article. After reading that article in Gujarati, 3 persons, they came and met me, and they said, your article saved me. One of the ladies had already kept the medicine for taking sleeping drugs for committing suicide already on the drawer, and she was waiting that the younger brothers and sisters, when they would go to sleep, then she would take. On that very day, the Ramakrishna Jyot Gujarati monthly had come. She had no idea, no intention of reading the book, but she wanted to pass the time. She was just turning the pages, and my editorial was there on the magic of the Gospel, in which everything was mentioned, how the Gospel gave peace of mind. I have already Gospel on my mind. And she took out the Gospel, and she got so much of peace of mind, she gave up the idea of committing suicide. Likewise, so many have been prevented from committing suicide by reading the Gospel in any language. And when I mentioned about this in my discourse, when I used to give Sunday discourses every Sunday at Porbandar. Afterwards, one lady came that she had come prepared. That day she was beaten very mercilessly by his drunkard husband, and she had already had 1 full tin of kerosene he had purchased. so that she could, just after returning from the temple, she would just put the kerosene and get fired. She was so frustrated. After listening to my lecture that the gospel gives so much of peace, she started reading the gospel and she was also saved. She is still alive. And all these people are still alive. And they are all becoming great devotees. In fact, her husband later on gave up the drinking, and now that fellow is making all others to give up drinking. And he has become a saint among the other drivers. He was a driver. Other drivers are now giving up drinking habit because of that lady's punya. So such a transformation is coming. That Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, wonderful book. Sri Ramakrishna's teachings are full of nectar. His life was full of nectar, but as I told you, infinite. You can describe the glory of Brahman, but we cannot describe the glory of Sri Ramakrishna. That is what Swami Vivekananda says. So only what we can do, we can pray to Sri Ramakrishna. Very difficult for us to know your Mahima. We don't want to know. You are so great that we cannot fathom your greatness. But we only know that you are always Kalpataru for us. Just give devotion at your lotus feet. With this prayer, I end here. Thank you very much. I take this opportunity of conveying my humble pranam to Rev. Harshanandji Maharaj and expressing my gratefulness to him to give me an opportunity of meeting you all. Thank you.